Welcome to Bible Lands with Dan Serns. Here we are at the Kidron Valley, right on the edge of Old Jerusalem. So many things happened here. One of the key things was when David was being chased out of Jerusalem by his son Absalom, who had raised an army and rebelled against. David took his household and those who were still faithful to him and went across this little Kidron Valley and river over to the Mount of Olives there in the background, and wondering if they'd ever return. But God had impressed David, and David said, if God wants it, he'll take care of it. And that's exactly what happened. Many hundreds of years later, we have Jesus, who also is there in the Garden of Gethsemane in the background, and he was arrested, and he was put on trial, had to cross over the Kidron Valley where he'd gone over many times before, the place where all of the blood from the sacrifices of the temple would be flushed down along with the parts of the animals and washed away. And Jesus was constantly reminded as he traveled to and from Jerusalem, from Bethany over on the other side of the Mount of Olives there, that he would be the sacrifice for the sins of the world. And when he was arrested there in the Garden of Gethsemane off in the background, came across the Kidron Valley and came over here to this other side where they'd be put on trial, mock trials at night with Annas, Caiaphas, and ultimately allow himself to be put in human hands so he would be crucified but raised again. You know, David had life and Jesus' life had some parallels there. Learning to trust that God would be in charge and God would do what was right at the right time. We can learn that lesson too, because Jesus hasn't come back and there's pain and suffering and sin and evil in this world. And we might say, why don't you hurry up, God? And Jesus says, at just the right time, I will come again, receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also.